going to call the regular council land use meeting to order and go immediately into land use applications. Cloverdale B1.
Move planning recommendations on 1.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? That one's carried.
Move planning recommendations on 2.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move planning recommendations on 3.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On zoning bylaw, move first.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move second.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move public hearing be set for Monday, September 14th.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move planning recommendations on number 4.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move planning recommendations on number 5.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I'm going to move referral on number 6 back to staff.
Seconder on referral? Second. Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. 7. Oh, sorry, Councillor Gill. Didn't see you on my list here.
Madam Mayor, usually when we have applications being referred back to staff, we generally permit the applicant to speak to it, but I certainly have my own comments. I'm not sure what the will of council is, but certainly this has been a really interesting application. Personally, I have varying views on this particular application. One is that there's a significant opportunity for these lands to be land swapped. I think that's a position that I've held for quite some time as it relates to these lands. But certainly, if one were to look at how these lands could potentially be developed in the future, which would result in, for every 2 acres, you could put 1 home. Certainly, when you're looking at the residential element and the use of land, I don't find that to be very helpful. I guess really where else I had some difficulty is just going through the application. I also was quite concerned with meeting with the applicant in terms of some comments that were potentially made at the AFSAC committee in terms of the farmability of these lands and the hill and that sort. So I would be very interested in hearing from the applicant as it relates to this particular application.
Councillor Villeneuve.
Well, as someone that referred it back, and that really was the Planning Department's recommendation, reading through the report, this application would need major amendments through the Metro Vancouver Regional Growth Strategy and with the urban containment boundary. And as a member of the board of Metro that put that plan together, I'm not willing at this time to look at boundary changes with that plan because it's really designed to contain urban growth. And I support the rural designation in this area. As a resident and as a city councillor, I really do not want to see housing sprawl up the Hazelmere Valley. So the minute you open one door, things begin to move, and that's just a reality. But I think that I have a lot of respect for the applicants on this, but it certainly doesn't fit within the vision I have for the area at this time. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. I am prepared to let the applicant speak if the applicant is here this afternoon. Otherwise, it is for referral back to rural.
Can you hear? Yes, you can hear me. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak this evening. We were looking for the opportunity to work with staff. We understand that there are regulatory structures in place that need to be reviewed in detail before any detailed plans could come forward, and we're looking for that opportunity to do that. I believe there was a question about farmability on the hillside from Zero Avenue down to where the existing ALR boundary is, which is the non-hatched area of this property. It is quite steep and would not be suitable for agricultural uses, hence the proposal for a residential designation there.
Thank you. We'll take that under advisement on the referral.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. Thank you. So it's going back to staff. Number 7.
Move the recommendation on number 7.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move the recommendation on number 8.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
On the zoning bylaw, move first.
Seconded. Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move second.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move public hearing be set for Monday, September 14th.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Number 9. This is a denial. Is the applicant here for number 9? Would you like to come forward and speak to the denial?
Your Worship, I have my speaking notes, enough copies for council and staff, if somebody from staff
I'll move
wants
we
to.
receive them.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Give those to the city clerk.
How many do you need? 9 plus? I think you got enough, or do you need more? And I was under the impression that I have access to the overhead. Could you put this up there, please? Yep, for the time being, yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity to present to you our case for a temporary use permit for the use of the Infinity Tower for our antenna to provide a new Surrey-focused radio station. My name is Suki Bod. I am the president, owner of South Fraser Broadcasting Incorporated. With me today is Graham Hicks, right behind me, of Varcon Engineering, who's been working on the technical arrangements for our antenna with the folks from the Infinity Tower and with city staff. Also with me, behind me, is Glenn Chalmers, a longtime Vancouver area broadcaster and Surrey resident who will become our general manager. In January 2011, after researching the Surrey community thoroughly, we submitted an application for a first local radio service to the CRTC. We had identified FM 107.7 as the only remaining frequency that could provide service to all of Surrey. And our consumer research showed us clearly, 1, Surrey residents see themselves as distinct from Vancouver. 2, while they listen to Vancouver radio stations, they do not think they do an adequate job of reflecting this growing city. 3, they would listen in large numbers to a station whose programming focused on Surrey news, Surrey traffic, Surrey sports, and events in and around this city. A look at Stats Canada's 2011 data shows clearly that the way to go was not another South Asian station, but rather an English language station that could reach out to 94% of Surrey residents who understand English. The over 80% who speak English at home and on a regular basis, and over 53% who do not speak any other language. The CRTC took some time to deal with our application, issuing a call for competing applications for Vancouver and area in 2013. We updated research and added some focus groups, which strengthened our conclusions that an English language station focusing on Surrey first, Surrey second, and Surrey always, as one of the focus group participants stated, was the way to go. A number of other groups applied, but we were the only ones that proposed an English language station focused on Surrey. Others proposed Vancouver area stations or Surrey third language stations or minority interest formats. After a February 2014 public hearing held at the Sheraton here in town, the CRTC awarded us, South Fraser Broadcasting, the license in August of 2014. Our original technical plan proposed to place our antenna on the yet-to-be-built Junda Tower. Unfortunately, it is still yet to be built. Because of the congestion on the FM band in the Lower Mainland and Northwest Washington, we have to engineer this carefully with protection to stations on the same frequency or immediately adjacent frequencies in Gibsons, in Chilliwack, in Salt Spring, and Seattle. We cannot use a high-power transmitter and must make up by having a very tall building. Otherwise, we will not be heard in all of Surrey. While it became clear that the Junda Tower would not be built anytime soon, I approached the other high buildings in Surrey, Central Surrey. Only these buildings provide sufficient height to reach our coverage goal. I have provided you with the coverage maps, it's at the very last page, showing what kind of signal we have. Unfortunately for me, only Infinity Tower responded positively. The other towers were either not interested or already had antennas that took up their capacity. South Fraser Broadcasting holds a license from the CRTC to provide an English language station to serve Surrey. We plan a news and current affairs focus in our programming, which will include the following features. 95 newscasts per week, starting at 5 a.m. using a new staff of full-timers, part-timers, and interns, as well as a full-time community affairs director. Our news will be professional and thorough, covering more than the crime Vancouver Radio covers here. Every day, we'll have a 3-hour morning talk show featuring the events of Surrey, with regular features covering council, the school boards, transportation, and things that matter to Surrey. Each noon, we'll provide a concentrated hour of news, sports, traffic, weather, business and entertainment news, all focused on Surrey. The afternoon will feature another talk show focusing a little bit more on the lighter side of life, what is going on in Surrey, of interest to parents, both parents, mums and dads, and mums working
Just in the interest of time, I wonder if you could just keep your comments relative to the actual antenna.
All right.
And it's the height of that antenna, which is really the subject that we're looking at right now.
Okay.
We're happy to have the station and understand the content value of it, but this is really about the height of the antenna.
Graham is with me. Technically, Your Worship, we're very limited to what we can do. We need the height. And there's only so many buildings, and we've approached all of them. And the fortunate part of the Infinity Tower is it's probably one of the few ones that's got a 25-foot parapet on top, which does a great job at hiding a significant amount of the antenna. We could look at alternates. The problem is every time you do that, you have to redo your technical brief, you have to file with Industry Canada, you have to go back to CRTC and get approvals, and that means more delays. And that means more delays for the City of Surrey in getting this service. Well, you know what, Graham, I'm sorry, planning, when we sat down with planning, they initially had some concerns. One was our initial build was on the outside of the parapet, and then planning came back and says, can you do some changes? And we said, yes, we could. So we put the antenna on the inside of the parapet. The other change was they had suggested, at first NAV Canada wanted it lit, and they said, you know what, that light might be a distraction. We talked to NAV Canada, we no longer have to put a light on there. The third option that was sort of suggested by planning was, can we camouflage it somehow? And we looked at the engineering and so forth, went back at it, and in our view, and the engineer's view, that might make it a little bit bigger and more. So then I sort of sat there with our general manager and team. We said, you know what can find out some creative solution for this. And one of the creative solutions, in addition to the $700,000 that South Fraser Broadcasting will be putting forward, which is $350,000 directly to the City of Surrey and school boards and so forth, is that I'd like to put forward an additional funding for Surrey Arts. If somebody can design a camouflage for us that the Strata is happy with, planning is happy with, council is happy with, South Fraser Broadcasting will put on the table $25,000 over the license life, or as long as we're on the tower, or $5,000 annually.
Councillor Martin has a question for you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Pat, I see in your last page that you have sorry, have a handout of what it might look like, and we don't have that in our package.
The coverage or the tower?
The tower.
The tower, I think you have it in your package, but Graham's got a copy of it. One important comment while Graham is handing that out, Your Worship and Council, is that initially we were seeking a long-term, but now we will settle for a short-term conditional use permit. And I actually got out of a meeting with another tower company. Confidentially, I can submit, not right now, but I will submit a letter to you that we are progressing with our discussions at the end of our conditional use permit for 3 years, that we will, as one of the persons in planning put it, height is might. We want to be on the highest tower possible. That way we get the greatest amount of coverage for the City of Surrey, that after 3 years we would relocate to the highest tower possible.
Thank you.
Councillor Gill.
Thank you, Madam. I'm just trying to look for some clarity here. I'm looking at Appendix 2, which is obviously in front of me. I'm just finding difficult to understand why that you as the applicant are having difficulty being able to camouflage the antenna. So I'm just having some difficulty with that. If you could just perhaps elaborate, what have you tried to date? And if planning has any comments, it would be much appreciated, but certainly I'm just putting the onus on the applicant. What have you tried to date to be able to kind of hide this antenna despite its location and vicinity on the tower?
Thank you, Councillor Gill. We have discussed amongst the engineers just building a cover for it, sheath for it, which Surrey Public Arts can sort of, working with the council, can come up with some sort of a design. Planning came back with us and saying, can you not build those parapet a little bit higher? That would be a very expensive and timely venture. So we've looked at various options, but one of the things that we came up with was every time we tried to sort of put some sort of a cover on it, it got a little bit bigger and a little bit more sort of apparent. The other thing that planning suggested is what better way of blending it into the atmosphere, and we sort of says, okay, we'll sort of leave it the same color as the atmosphere so that there's minimal intrusion there. I hope I answered your question.
I'm going to actually defer some of this question to planning, if I could, Madam Mayor. I'm just trying to better understand, have you worked with the applicant looking at any possible scenarios in terms of being able to hide this antenna effectively?
Madam Mayor, Councillor Gill, staff did look at some options, but we understood from the applicant that the design, making changes to design were somewhat limited due to the requirements to meet the frequency engineering in terms of the space of the antennas, in terms of their height and their distance apart. But perhaps the applicant can provide more information on that.
When I sat with John Schulte, one of the suggestions was made was, can we not put some sort of a cover that blends, some sort of a smokestack looking sort of that'll blend into the building, some sort of another tower that can make a look at the parapet extends. Any other option that we looked at made the structure bigger. And so one thing we wanted to do was minimize the size of the structure. Graham can probably talk to the sheath that we can put on it if you wish.
So just want to understand your proposal. You are suggesting that you're going to be making available $25,000 subject to this application being approved, available for public art to assist in camouflaging the antenna. Is that what your intent is today?
Yes, Councillor.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. What is the wish of council?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir.
If I may, I'm going to move that we refer this back to staff, and perhaps the applicant and staff can work on a solution that would minimize the look of the proposed tower, and perhaps in context to the proposal of utilizing public art as a possible solution. So I'm going to move that.
Seconder, thank you. All those in favor of referral? Those opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Number 10, I am looking for...
I'm going to refer it back to planning, considering the information in their report.
I would think the resolution is to refer it back to the applicant to work with the other owners of the property to resolve the parking deficiency.
Yes, from a legal perspective, we need to do that.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make that referral.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Number 11.
Move the recommendation on number 11.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move the recommendation on number 12.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move the recommendation on number 13.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On the OCP, move first.
All those in... Oh, I need a seconder. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move second.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move public hearing set for Monday, September 14th.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On the zoning bylaw, move first.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move second.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move public hearing set for Monday, September 14th.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move the recommendation on C1.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On the Surrey land use contract number 38, move first.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move second.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move public hearing set for Monday, September 14th.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move the recommendation on number 2.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On the land use contract number 418, move first.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move second.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move public hearing set for Monday, September 14th.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move the recommendation on corporate report D L003.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And move number L004.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move final adoption on H1.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Final on 2.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 3, move that council request to pass a resolution amending the East Newton North Neighborhood Concept Plan.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move final adoption on 3.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move final on 4.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 5, move that council be requested to pass a resolution amending the North Grandview Heights NCP to
Second.
redesignate the site.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 5, move final.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 6, move final.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And 6, move that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute DVP 7913020700.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 7, move that council be requested to pass a resolution amending the Central Semi-Am Peninsula Local Area Plan to redesignate the site.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And move final.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Again, on number 7, move that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute DVP 7912023600.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And move that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute DVP 7912023601.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And on 8, move that council be requested to pass a resolution amending the Morgan Heights NCP.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move final adoption on 8.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And move that on 8 as well. Move that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute DVP 7914003700.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And also on 8, move that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute development permit 7914003700.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. That's exactly the same number as the one before.
That one was a DVP, one was a DP.
One, okay. 9.
On 9, move that council requested to pass a resolution amending the King George Highway Corridor Local Area Plan.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And final adoption on 9.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 9, move that council requested to rescind resolution R141434.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And move that council be requested to amend bylaw 18268 as follows, as per the agenda.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Move third as amended.
Move third as amended.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move final adoption.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And move that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute DV development permit 7911016500.
Second. All those supporting? Contrary? Carried.
On 10, move that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute TUP 7913019600.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On 11, move that council close application 7903034000.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And on 12, move that council close application 79120117, 7912010700.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And on 13, move that council close
And
application 7912.
And on 12, there's a filing as
I
well.
will move the following. My apologies.
Seconder? Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
On
13.
13, move that council close application 7912010800 and file bylaw 17973.
In support? Contrary? Carried. I was kidding.
On 14, move that council close application 7912010900 and file bylaw 17974.
Second. All those in support? Contrary? Carried.
And on table, Madam Mayor, 15, move that council is requested to pass a resolution amending the North Grandview Heights NCP Plan.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And move final adoption.
Second. In favor? Opposed? Carried.
And also on 15, that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute DVP 7911022301.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And move final adoption on 16, that's on table as well.
Second. In support? Contrary? Carried.
And on 16, move that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute DVP 7912000500.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Adjournment?
Move adjournment.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.